Champions League predictions, people. I don't know how long this is going to be. It's going to be either a Hobbit episode or a Lord of the Rings film. I want to know, what is your drink of choice? What is your meal of choice? As we have a deep dive into the Champions League this season. 36 teams. I'm going to predict it from 36th to first place. So it's going to be a long-ass episode, and I'm going to need your help by hitting the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We will be covering the Champions League like we have done every single season, but this season is going to be even bigger. And if you've been living under a rock, or if you were like Julian Assange and stuck in the Ecuadorian embassy, this is how the Champions League is going to go this season. 36 teams will enter a league phase of the Champions League. 25th to 36 are eliminated completely. 9 through 24 will enter the playoff round, and the top 8 will automatically go to the round of 16. Let's get to the predictions, starting with number 36. So starting in 36th of the Champions League, I'm going to go with Slovan Bratislava. Their first ever qualification to the Champions League proper in their club's history. So this season is no matter a great season for Slovan Bratislava. This is the craziest thing about them. Vladimir Vajc is their manager. He's the same manager who led Slovakia to their debut at the World Cup in 2010. And you know who the captain is? His son, Vladimir Vajc Jr. You have to love football. This is why I love covering the Champions League, from the minnows to the big guns, because you get stories like this. They have a very experienced team. You got Kashia, you got Kuchka, but keep an eye on the Armenian Bashigin. He scored a really crucial goal in the playoff round. They did an epic comeback on Midtjylland. Although, if you look at their schedule for Slovan Bratislava, it is hell. Celtic, Manchester City, Girona, Dinamo Zagreb, AC Milan, Atletico, Stuttgart, Bayern Munich. If I look at that schedule, the only game they got a chance in is Celtic or Dinamo Zagreb. The other ones, they're going to lose. So I think Slovan Bratislava might just get maximum 4 points. But hey, it's all about the experience, and they get 8 games of Champions League experience. 35th, I'm going with Sparta Praha. It is their first UCL campaign in 19 years. Harselin, remember him from the Euros who scored a great goal? He is doing great at Sparta Praha this season. He's continuing the form that he's shown in the summer. Tucci, another very dangerous player, the Albanian. They have a good team, but look at this schedule, people. Talk about coming back to the Champions League. Red Bull Salzburg, Star Brestois, Atletico, Inter, Stuttgart, Man City, Feyenoord, Bayer Leverkusen. I'm going to give Sparta Praha maybe 1 or 2 wins, and it's against Red Bull Salzburg or Star Brestois. The other ones is automatic L's. But Sparta Praha, very good team. Shout out to my Finnish guy Kai Kairinen, Angel Preciado, and other players. But Sparta Praha are going to find it very difficult. 35th. 34th is Sturm Graz. It is their first UCL appearance since 2000. They finally ended the Red Bull Salzburg dominance in Austria. So for them, they should get a standing ovation from the rest of Europe for ending the domination. Kitesvili in the midfield, baller. Remember him, the Georgian. Then they got 2 young Danish forwards, Mboving and Biret, who are both very promising forwards. But Sturm Graz are going to have a hell of a run. RB Leipzig, Dortmund, Lille, Sporting, Stade Brestois, Girona, Club Brugge, Atalanta. I look at only one game and one game only where they can win, and that is Club Brugge. The other ones, I'm sorry, Sturm Graz. You've had a great season. They did the double last season. They won the Austrian Cup. They won the Austrian Bundesliga. But yeah, this season, the Champions League, they're going to find it difficult. 34 for Sturm Graz. In 33rd is Young Boys. They've had a strange season. How can you tell me a team that is bottom of their league has qualified to the Champions League? Well, that is Young Boys, as they knocked down Galatasaray in the playoff round. I don't know how they did it. I watched the away game. They were under the cosh, but they still looked pretty dangerous on the counterattack. Can they regain some form ahead of the league phase? It's going to be difficult. They got one league game before the Champions League begins, and their schedule is very difficult. They've always been a very good home side. Obviously, we remember when they beat Man United with the late goal, artificial turf. It's going to be very difficult for opponents to go away to Young Boys. But Aston Villa, Inter, Atalanta, Crvena Zvezda, Barcelona away, Shakhtar, Stuttgart, Celtic. I might give them 1 win and maybe a point away to Celtic. It is Crvena Zvezda. That's the only game Young Boys have got a chance. Although maybe they could upset Aston Villa. But Young Boys, I got them in 33rd in the league. 32nd, and it is probably one of the more improbable teams to ever qualify for the Champions League. It is Stade Brestois. Their greatest season ever last year. Their first ever European campaign. For that, it is a round of applause, because nobody gave them a sniff of qualifying to European football, let alone the Champions League. Most people don't even know where Brest is in France. The sad thing for them is they cannot play at their home side. It's not up to UEFA standards, so they're going to have to play their home games in Genappe, I think it is. If somehow Eric Roy can guide them to a top 24 finish, that is an automatic lifetime contract and shrine outside Stade Brestois Stadium. Because if he can do that with this team, with that schedule, that is incredible. I would say their schedule isn't the worst. You know, you have Sturm Graz at home and you have Sparta Praha away. Not the worst, but you're going up against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayer Leverkusen, PSV. Tough schedule for Stade Brestois. I still think they can get 32nd. They can go on the buffer of 30th to 32nd. But yeah, I'm going to go with 32nd. Lack of the European experience. Maybe they can get a little bit fatigued going with Champions League and League. So I got them in 32nd. 31st, I got Dinamo Zagreb. It is another UCL campaign for Zagreb. Usually Dinamo get one home win in the Champions League against one of the big sides. Baturina, keep an eye on this guy. An exciting talent they got. Sami Mime, who they signed from Ferencvaros. Very good defender. Like that pickup for Dinamo Zagreb. But yeah, that schedule, especially when you look at Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Arsenal, AC Milan, I mean, they're going to play some big teams, which is great about the Champions League. But the other teams, maybe they can get a victory over Slovan Bratislava, maybe Celtic. Otherwise, it's going to be tough for Dinamo Zagreb, and that's why I got them in 31st. In 30th, it is Crvena Zvezda. Back-to-back UCL appearances. Some good additions to the team in Elsnik in the midfield, to Duarte at the striker, and the left back Seol, the South Korean, very good player. Of course, the home atmosphere will make a big difference, and their schedule, though, is tough. Home to Barca, home to Benfica, PSV, Stuttgart, away to the San Siro twice, Young Boys, Monaco. I mean, if you're Crvena Zvezda and the players, you're like, bring it on. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to make it an atmosphere at home. But the quality will show, especially against the likes of Barca and Inter and AC Milan. Maybe they can get a result away to Young Boys, and maybe they can beat one of Stuttgart and PSV or Benfica. I kind of give them a chance in those games. The other ones, no chance for Crvena Zvezda. 29th, I got Club Brugge. They lost both Igor and Antonio Nusa, but acquired the massive, and I mean massive, 6'6" striker Nielsen from Royal Union Saint-Gilloise. Club Brugge have actually been a very good European side in the last couple of years, and they somehow get a result, a funny result always. Remember when they beat Porto 4-0 away a couple of seasons ago? Somehow Club Brugge always do this. Now let's look at their schedule. Dortmund at home, Sturm Graz away, I think they can win that game. AC Milan away, nope. Aston Villa at home, maybe. Celtic, 50-50. Sporting, I'm going to give the favor to Sporting. Juventus at home, Man City away. They're going to pick up maybe 5 to 6 points, Club Brugge, in the league phase. And that will be enough maybe to get 29th to 32nd. I'm going to have them in 29th. Very underrated team, but a tough schedule. Then in 28th, it is Bologna, who are making the return to the Champions League for a very long time. But losing Thiago Motta, losing Calafiore, and losing Joshua Zirkzee is affecting this team massively. Vincenzo Italiano is a good manager when it doesn't come to finals, because when it comes to finals, Vincenzo Italiano was a guaranteed loss. You look at his record in the Coppa Italia final to Conference League final. I mean, the guy just knows how to take an L. But he is a good manager. They have lost the quality, but it's a miraculous that Bologna have even qualified to the Champions League. They did sign Dalinga from Toulouse. He really hasn't had the minutes so far to integrate himself into the side. But Bologna are going to have a hard reality check, I think, this season with the Serie A and the Champions League. Watch out for Lukumi, the center back, and Skorupski. Good goalkeeper, but he's going to be a very busy man. And if you look at their schedule, Shakhtar, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Monaco, Lille, Benfica, Dortmund, Sporting. I might give them 1 or 2 wins here. I'm going to be deadly honest. 1 or 2 wins. Bologna have good pieces, but it's not good enough to compete against the big boys they're going up against. Yes, Monaco and Lille might not be the big boys in Europe, but they got more talented players, I think, right now than Bologna. And Bologna are just trying to reintegrate themselves, redefine their team after Thiago Motta left. And I think they're going to really struggle, and that's why I got them in 28th. 27th is Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk will be playing their home games in Gelsenkirchen. So if you're looking at Dortmund and Bayern Munich, basically a home game for them. Surikov, of course, the young baller. He was a little bit quiet, I thought, in the Euros. Still a supreme talent. Then they got the experience of Stepanenko. Keep an eye on the 2 Brazilians, Pedrinho and Kevin, alongside their striker Saikin. They got some good players, Shakhtar Donetsk, but I don't think they have the same quality like we've known in the past of Shakhtar Donetsk. I hope they do well, but this schedule is tough. I think they can beat Young Boys at home, and I think they can beat Stade Brestois away. The other games, I don't give them much of a chance, except maybe Bologna, so that's why I got Shakhtar in 27th. Oh, Benfica. And that's why I got Benfica in 26th. They are having a very weird and disappointing season so far. It got so bad that Roger Schmidt is sacked after 3 games. That just shows you the size of Benfica. If you have a little dip in form, your ass is out of here. I don't know what to expect from Benfica, and at the time of recording, we don't know who the manager will be, but getting rid of Schmidt was the right thing to do. So Benfica, they did sell João Neves, they sold David Neres, and they sold Marcos Leonardo. So, I mean, some quality lost again in my opinion, but they made some decent signings. Beste from Heidenheim, Pavlidis, Barriello, and now they signed Oktogoglu. So whoever the manager will be, he needs to find a fluid attack. You know, you got talented players like Prestiani, Kochku, and these guys, Pavlidis. But the team just looks so disinterested, so disorganized, and there's no fluidness in their attack. So if I'm looking at Benfica and I look at their opponents, they got Bologna, Feyenoord, Atletico, Barca, going away to Juventus, away to Bayern Munich, away to Monaco, away to Crvena Zvezda. Realistically, please, Benfica fans, be realistic. How many games are you going to win? Right? Okay, maybe you can beat Bologna. Maybe you can beat Crvena Zvezda away. Maybe you can beat Monaco away. The other games, maybe Feyenoord. You're not going to beat Barcelona right now. Yeah, Benfica had their number a couple of seasons ago. This Benfica team are not that team right now. And Juventus away, Juventus want revenge on them after what happened a couple of seasons ago. I think Benfica, they will get a reality check. They have some good players, and I always like Benfica. But this season is really a rebuild, in my opinion. 25th, and the last team to miss out on the playoff round is Lille. And they finally ended the curse for Ligue 1 teams in qualifiers in the Champions League. Shout out to Lille. You finally put respect on Ligue 1 because this league needed to do something in the playoff round especially. I really like Haraldson. I really like Segrova. I really like Jonathan David. Their front three can cause some trouble to other teams in Europe. Defensively, they got to be a lot better. You know, obviously losing a highly talented player like Yoro is going to affect the team. But Lille still got ballers. But their schedule, I'm giving them one max win against Sturm Graz. Maybe they can get something away to Bologna. Maybe they can beat Feyenoord at home. The other games, you're going away to Sporting, away to Atletico, away to Liverpool. Could be tough for Lille. I think to get to the playoff round, you maybe need 10 to 15 points, I would say, around there. Can Lille get to it? Maybe. But I don't think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get about 8 to 9 points and just miss out on the playoff round and finish 25th. So then the first team to make it into the playoff round and finishing 24th is Girona. Their first ever European campaign. Michel, he might be a hipster manager, but he's a goddamn good manager. They sold their entire squad. I mean, an atomic bomb went off in Girona with the players they sold from Dovbik, Savinho, and all of these guys. Young Couto. It is sad, and obviously some of those players were on loan, but this team that were so fun to watch last year in La Liga are not the same anymore. Yes, okay, they signed a couple decent players. I really like Yasser Asprilla. I think he's going to be an absolute baller for them for the years to come. Plus Danjuma, I think he's a much better striker than Alba Ruiz. When I saw that Girona were going to just sign Alba Ruiz, I said, no, they're not serious anymore. Because Alba Ruiz is an average striker. Okay, you bring in Danjuma, bit more quality, like it. Now, let's check out their schedule. Because they got Slovan Bratislava at home, Feyenoord at home, Sturm Graz, and PSV. I think Girona can beat Slovan Bratislava and Feyenoord at home. They can beat Sturm Graz away. And I'm just banking on them getting a draw somewhere. Just somewhere. And I think they can get to 10 points. And I think that will just be enough for Girona to make it to the playoff round. Now, in the playoff round, you don't really want to face Girona because Michel and their squad can play football. Now, call me crazy, call me football hipster, call me whatever, tell me I shop at Urban Outfitters. I think Celtic are going to make it to the playoff round and finish 23rd.
Stay off the damn weed!
It's another season under Brendan Rodgers. Last year in the Champions League, I thought it was actually a success. They beat Feyenoord at home. That's amazing for Celtic. You know, obviously they have rich history in the Champions League, but they've been a laughingstock, in my opinion, the last decade. They finally put some more respect on the badge. And I think they got a favorable draw here. Then you look at their midfield, like Bernardo, who's going to really step up this season, I think, for Celtic. They obviously lost Matt O'Reilly, which is a big piece for them. I think they can do well. Defensively, though, away from home, they have to be better. That was their conundrum last year in the Champions League. If you look at their home teams, RB Leipzig, Club Brugge, Young Boys, and Slovan Bratislava. I'm looking at the home games. I'm expecting 3 wins. You can get 3 wins there, Celtic. You can. Away from home, I don't think they're going to get anything from Dortmund. I don't think they're going to get anything from Atalanta. I think they can get a point off of Dinamo Zagreb and maybe Aston Villa. But I don't think so. I think Aston Villa will be fine there. So Celtic, 10 to 11 points. Enough for the playoff round and enough to finish in 23rd. 22nd, I got RB Salzburg. Pep Linders, their new manager. They're going to score and they're going to concede for fun. So if you want a neutral game, watch RB Salzburg this season. They can outscore the pot 3 opponents. They can outscore the pot 4 opponents. They're not going to do that to the pot 1 or pot 2 teams as we're going to look at their schedule. And I think that will help the squad. They don't have the pressure to perform. They just have the pressure to announce themselves to other teams in Europe, especially the talented players they got. It's just about the away performances. If they can get a win away to Sparta Praha or Feyenoord, RB Salzburg can finish in the top 24, and I think they can do it. Watching them in the qualifiers, the away performances were not the same at home. So Pep Linders has to find a way to bring that home success away from home. You're not going to win every away game. I don't expect it. So I think RB Salzburg could maybe shock somebody and make it to the top 24. I think they will finish 22nd. 21st then is Feyenoord. Brian Priske did a fantastic job at Sparta Praha. Now he has to take that same form to Feyenoord. You know, losing Heitruda, losing Mats Wiffer are massive losses for the team. Juan Guillaume, who they just signed, great pickup in the midfield. He can be a good replacement for Mats Wiffer, but it's all dictating on the form of Santi Jimenez. If he can continue this goal-scoring form and really just bully the defenders, like from Sparta Praha to RB Salzburg to Benfica away to Girona away, I think Santi can really then announce himself once again to Europe. It's a tough schedule, but I think they can beat the pot 3 teams. I think they can beat the pot 4 teams. I'm banking on them beating the RB Salzburg and Sparta Praha. Get yourself 6 points there. Maybe they can pick up a cheeky win away to Benfica or Girona, and I think Feyenoord will finish 21st. Keep it on Priske. He's a good manager. 20th, I got Monaco. Back in the UCL for the first time since 2019. Adi Hutter has done a good job since becoming the manager last year. Losing Fofana in the midfield will hurt their defense massively. Ili Nekena could be the breakthrough star. Remember him from Royal Antwerp? He was the young star for them. Now he got transferred to Monaco. He's a player to watch out for. But the player I'm most excited for in this team is without a doubt Lamine Camara in the midfield. If you watch the AFCON, you know what I'm talking about. But it's down to one of the strikers to just step up for Monaco. Whether it's Mbolo, whether it's Balogun, one of you guys, please find the back of the net. If they can do that, Monaco are a dangerous side. Barcelona at home. They're going to beat Dinamo Zagreb. They're going to beat Crvena Zvezda. And I think they're going to beat Bologna. 3 wins right there, away from home. Benfica, tough still. Arsenal, loss. Aston Villa, loss. Inter. So I'm going to say that Monaco get 9 to 12 points. Maybe they can surprise somebody away from home. And that's why I'm looking at Benfica. And I think Monaco will finish in 20th place. 19th then is Stuttgart. After an incredible season last year where they finished ahead of Bayern Munich and finished second in the league, they're back in the UCL for the first time since 2009. Sebastian Hoeneß. Get to know the name, because he's going to be a manager for the future. But now, this is where the test begins. Oh, you had the nice, cute story. Oh, it's a wonderful Disney story, making it back to the Champions League, finishing second. Now let's see how good you are. That's what I want to see from Stuttgart. Undov, Demirovic, Chris Furyk, they got to play at an unbelievable level considering the talents they lost over the summer. The defense, I'm really worried about because they lost significant quality in that department of the field. If they can sort out the defense, they got the goal scores. I think Stuttgart can have a good season in the Champions League. And their home games are Sparta Praha, which they will win. Atalanta, I think they can beat them. Young Boys, I think they can beat them. PSG, I'm looking at a loss. Away, you're going away to Slovan Bratislava. I think Stuttgart can win that. They might draw away to Crvena Zvezda, and they will lose to Real Madrid and Juventus. I think Stuttgart have a really good opportunity to make it to the top 24. That's why I got them in 19th place. Keep it on Sebastian Hoeneß. What a manager. Then in 18th is a team who are returning to the Champions League for the first time in a long time, is Aston Villa. And what a story it is for Unai Emery to bring this side back to Champions League football. The Champions League anthem is going to hit Villa Park. I cannot imagine the scenes. Similar to what we saw when Newcastle returned to the Champions League. I think we're going to get similar scenes here at Villa Park. And I think Unai Emery, you don't deny this guy in European football. Yes, they had a disappointing exit last year to Olympiacos in the Conference League. But obviously Olympiacos won the Conference League at the end. And they got the players, from Jon Duran, who's a super sub. This guy's a super sub. Leon Bailey. Then I look at Ollie Watkins. I look at John McGinn. I look at Pau Torres. Amadou Onana in the midfield. So Aston Villa have the quality. Now, how are they going to do balancing the Champions League and the league? Again, it's a similar story to Newcastle. Can Aston Villa do better than Newcastle balancing both league and Champions League? Now, looking at their schedule, I think they could beat Celtic. I think they could beat Bologna. I think they could beat Young Boys and Club Brugge away. That's 12 points right there. And maybe they can get a nice cheeky win against Juventus or Bayern Munich. And I think Aston Villa will finish in 18th place. I know it's going to be an insane atmosphere. Unai Emery is going to relish it. He's going to really prepare his team well, tactically get them prepared. And there's one manager you don't want to face in a European night is Unai Emery. Aston Villa, they will finish 18th, make it to the playoff round. 17th then is RB Leipzig. They got a somewhat favorable draw, but their team is always going to be talented. Look at the team. Even though they lost Dani Olmo, okay, we'll go get Antonio Nusa. Like, RB Leipzig's recruiting is one of the best in Europe. We can talk what we want about the club and the history of it, or lack of history, I would say, but the recruitment, I respect it highly because they know talent. They know how to gel as a team. Marco Rose is a good manager. I wouldn't say a great manager. He's a good manager. And their schedule, it is tough, but you look at RB Leipzig in European football, they've done well recently. They almost knocked out Real Madrid last season. Like, they played a pretty good game away to the Santiago Bernabeu. So I think they can go away to Sturm Graz, beat them. They can beat Celtic. They can even go to Atletico and beat them. With the team they got, counter-attacking with Xavi Simons, Benjamin Sesko, Lois Openda, Antonio Nusa off the bench. That's a team you don't want to play against, especially in a European night. At home, you're going up against Sporting, you're going up against Aston Villa, Juventus, Liverpool. That's tough. I think they can get 2 wins from there. So RB Leipzig, very good team. I think they will get 17th place. 16th is Milan. Now, Milan have been a disaster so far this season. It's keeping up with the Milans. We're going to get away from keeping up with the Kardashians and keeping up with the Milans. Whether it's water break, whether it's Fonseca with his tactics, or the lack of defending from this team, Milan have been a disaster. But it's Milan at the end of the day. They have the heritage, and they got a favorable draw here. And I'll look at their players. Yeah, okay, you still sign a dude called Emerson Royale. How do you go and say, yeah, we're going to go pay 20 million for Emerson Royale? That is stupid recruitment. I'm sorry I have to say. It is stupid recruitment for Milan. Okay, you get Fofana. Good deal. Pavlovic. Very strong center back. Like it. But you need a good right back. They didn't sort that out. Striker. Okay, you get Tammy Abraham. You get Morata. Yeah, it's okay. So Milan's recruitment over the summer, I think it was okay-ish. But I think it could have been a lot better. Now, they can count their lucky stars, do the praying, and say, wow, we got a lucky draw here. Because they got Club Brugge. They're winning. Cervana Zvezda, they're winning. Girona, I think Milan can beat them. Liverpool, that's tough. It's going to be the first game of the Champions League this season. Then you're going away to Madrid, away to Bayer Leverkusen, away to Dinamo, and away to Slovan. I think Milan can guarantee themselves 4 to 5 wins right there. That should be enough for them to get 16th spot. But they got to massively improve. Defensively and especially dealing with crosses. So Fonseca in training, just practice on defending crosses. That's all you need to do. And defending in the channels because they don't know any concept of that right now. But Milan still got quality up front. Pulisic and obviously Leao, Morata, Tammy Abraham, Chukwueze off the bench. And then look at the midfield. Reinders, Fofana. They got so many quality players, Milan. They just need to gel together and just sort out the defense. And I think they will finish 16th. Let's continue with the hipster pick. I'm sorry. Sporting are one of the best teams in Europe right now. Okay, yeah, they might not have the names. They might not have the sexy badge or the sexy this. Even though everybody calls them Sporting Lisbon. It's not. It is Sporting Club de Portugal. Put respect on their name. From Gyökeres to Pedro Gonçalves to Morita to Morten Human in the midfield. Beast. Absolute beast mode. Now let's look at their schedule. Lille at home. Sturm Graz away. Arsenal at home, RB Leipzig away, PSV away, Man City at home, Club Brugge away, Bologna at home. I think they're going to beat Lille. I think they're going to beat Sturm Graz. I think they're going to beat Club Brugge. I think they're going to beat Bologna. But remember, they did beat Arsenal a couple years ago. Ruben Amorim is a very good manager away from home in Europe. Yeah, they lost to Atalanta last year in the Europa League, but I think Ruben Amorim and this side, they didn't really lose a lot of big pieces. They obviously lost Coates, who went back to Uruguay. I still look at their side and I'm like, they just gel so well. They know how to score. Gyökeres is one of the best strikers in Europe. He's a beast off the ball, with the ball. Then you have the combination play with Katomo or like Pedro Gonçalves. The perfect tactical setup, and I think they can perfectly set themselves up in Europe. The game I'm most looking forward to is PSV away. That game between Sporting and PSV is going to be chef's kiss. And I think Sporting are going to surprise some teams, and I think they will get 15th place. I'm really high on these guys. And another hipster pick, I'm going PSV in 14th place. Have you looked at their record so far in Eredivisie? How are you going to tell me that a team have played 4 games and have a plus 15 goal difference? Let me repeat that. In 4 games, they have a plus 15 goal difference. I mean, it's not even called the Eredivisie anymore. It's called the PSV Invitational. This is getting absurd. with how they just destroying teams. And then they got back Noah Long, who was injured for most parts last season. Good player. Still got De Jong. You still got Bakayoko, Malik Tillman, and these guys. And Peter Bosz, we could say what he wants about his time at Lyon and Dortmund and these sort of teams. In the Eredivisie, this guy might be the greatest manager of all time. PSV, Liverpool at home, that's going to be tough. Shakhtar Donetsk at home, they're going to win. Sporting, like I said before, 50-50. Girona, I think PSV can beat them. PSG away, going to be tough. Juventus away, going to be tough. And I look at Crvena Zvezda, I still think PSV can beat them. And Stade Brestois, still look at PSV, and they can beat them. So I think PSV got a very good draw here, very favorable. They really missed a lot of big teams, especially in Pot 2 and Pot 3 in my opinion. But it's going to be fun to watch Peter Bosz, man. They play some electrifying, attacking style of football. I love Bakayoko, love Noah Lang. PSV are a complete team. They just really believe in Peter Bosz ball. And Peter Bosz ball, right now, it is flourishing. It really is. And they made it to the round of 16 last year. Lost to Dortmund, who made it to the Champions League final. So they're no slouches. They're no joke. They're going to surprise some people. And they're going to finish 14th in my predictions. 13th then is Atletico de Madrid. They spent a lot of money. I mean, Atleti said, oh, you guys thought we were broke. Atleti are like a dude who just somehow started wearing Louis Vuittons, got the Gucci bag and the Louis Vuitton shoes. And you're like, wait, how did you get all of that? Well, Atleti said, cool, we're just going to sell a couple players. We're going to get rid of João Felix, Omoroiden, and these sort of guys. Then we're going to bring in the Julian Alvarez, Lenormand, Conor Gallagher's. Now, the problem for Simeone is he's got to find the perfect balance. I think he's tinkering too much. He should play Barrios. He should play Conor Gallagher and Rodrigo de Paul midfield. I think that will cook. What do you do, though, with Griezmann, Julian Alvarez, Sorloth, and Correa? Do you start Sorloth and Griezmann? Do you start Sorloth and Julian? Do you drop Julian to the bench? There's going to be a lot of question marks for Simeone this season, but that's why he is the highest paid manager in the world. So if you're the highest paid manager in the world, come up with solutions. And I need to see some solutions in the Champions League. So if you're any team who's going to visit the Wanda, if you're Leipzig, if you're Leverkusen, if you're Lille, Slovan Bratislava, good luck. Because that atmosphere is always intimidating. I cannot wait for the PSG Atleti matchup. I think that's going to be really interesting between Luis Enrique and Diego Simeone. Then obviously, you're going up against Xabi Alonso. So where do I think Atleti can win? They can beat Slovan, they can beat Sparta, they can beat Salzburg, they can beat Benfica, they can beat Lille. I think they can get 4 to 5 wins, and that's going to be enough for 13th place. But Atleti really got to sort it out, because if they don't sort it out, they could drop to like 19th to 21st if their attack is not clicking. They got the talent, but now they just got to sort it out. Maybe the international break came at a good time. Maybe after the international break, we're going to see a different team. Maybe in January, when we see the last 2 Champions League games, Atleti will be a completely different side. But they got a supremely good squad right now. Very excited to see them. But for me, 13th. 12th place is Atalanta, the Europa League winners. I mean, what Gasperini and Atalanta did last season in Europe was just nothing short of sensational. I was so happy to see them win, and especially for Gasperini, his first trophy, the side's first ever European success. I mean, it was a wonderful moment, wonderful occasion. Alamala Lukman scoring a hat-trick. It was like a fairy tale. It was a Disney script. Now they're back in the Champions League, and I'm always excited to see Gasperini ball. You don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get man-to-man pressing. We're going to see some other stars like Ritegi turn into a world beater, and they're going to win some games. That's what Atalanta do. They always just rely on good scouting and Gasperini's coaching. Now, if we look at their schedule, Arsenal at home. You don't think Atalanta can win that game? They can. Young Boys away, they can win that game. Shakhtar away, they can win that game. Real Madrid at home, Celtic at home, they're winning. Sturm Graz at home, they're winning. Stuttgart away, 50-50. That's actually going to be an insane game. And then Barcelona away, they're losing. But you look at their additions. They added Villanova, Ritegi, and a couple other guys. They lost, obviously, Coop Miners, which is a big thing for them. But it doesn't matter. Atalanta lose player after player after player. They'll AI generate some dude, and they'll make some money off of him. That's what Atalanta do. And they will always surprise teams. And I think Gasperini's ball really works in Europe. They just found that magic touch last year. I think they can continue it, and that's why I got them in 12th place. Now, this might be a surprise, considering they were undefeated last year. I got Bayer Leverkusen, and we know how much I love Bayer Leverkusen. I did so much content on them last year. You thought I was a Bayer Leverkusen fan. But I'm worried a little bit that you have to balance now the Bundesliga. You're not going up against Elfsberg or Karabakh or these sort of teams. No, you're going away to Feyenoord, at home to AC Milan, away to Stade Brestois, away to Anfield, at home to RB Salzburg, home to Inter, away to Atletico, and home to Sparta Praha. But the biggest question mark I have for Xabi Alonso and his team is, what are you going to do defensively? The first 2 games this year in the Bundesliga, 2-0 up, bottle it. They got away with it in the first game, beating Mönchengladbach with a late penalty. They didn't get away with it in Leipzig, and Leipzig finally ended the Juju curse. So by Leverkusen, they need to sort out the defense. They got the attack from Boniface, then they can bring on Patrick Schick, you got Florian Wirtz, obviously Grimaldo, Frimpong on the wings, but the defense of Jonathan Tah, Hinkapie, and Tapsoba, they need to sort themselves out, and Xabi Alonso needs to sort them out. They're way too easy to counter on. So if you're going to give that space to like a Leao, or you give that space to Liverpool, you give that space to Inter, they will punish you. You can't keep getting away with it in the Bundesliga. But of course, Bayer Leverkusen still will win a couple games. I still think they can beat Milan. They can even beat Inter. But Bayer Leverkusen, they got the quality. They got the manager. They just need to sort out their defense, and they will turn into world beaters again. I got them in 11th place. In 10th place, I got Juventus. You know how much I love the signings they've made. You know how much I love Thiago Motta. I think they're going to be a really good team, entertaining team. Let's enjoy ourselves. We're going to now sit down and watch this team play. From Conceição to Gonzalez to Koopmeiners, Thuram, Douglas Luiz, Cabal. They really made some good signings, but the best signing, of course, is Thiago Motta. And now, can his football translate to European football? You're going up against a Man City. You're going up away against Aston Villa, at home to Stuttgart, PSV. Not the easiest of opponents, but I still think Juventus, with the quality they got right now, I really want to see Vlahovic make his presence on the biggest stage in Europe. We really haven't seen that yet. Okay, yeah, he had some good moments with Juventus, but we need to see him take that next level with this Juventus side. I think he can do it this season, but what a way to do it. Do it against Man City, Vlahovic. Juventus are going to be a strong team this season in the Champions League. That's why I got them in 10th place. Talk about a team that got royally screwed in the Champions League draw. It is PSG. Away to Arsenal, away to Bayern Munich, away to Stuttgart, at home to Atleti, home to Man City, home to PSV, home to Girona. I mean, you saw the president's reaction. He couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw this for PSG. They got screwed. But they still got the team. And they got the manager, Luis Enrique. They're going to be the first team outside the top 8. Now, it might be harsh on PSG, but I'm sorry. This schedule is so brutal. You know, you're going away to Allianz Arena, away to Arsenal, home to Man City. That could be 3 automatic L's right there. Now, do I think they can lose those games? Yes. Can they win those games? Of course they can. They got João Neves, Vitinha, Zaire Emery midfield. Those are 3 technical ballers in the midfield. And we see it all the time in the Champions League. Now you can have the physicality in the midfield, but technical ballers will always thrive. Then you got a forward like Barcola, who's really taking it to the next level this season. Really like him. Pacho, the Great Wall of Ecuador, is a beast of defender. He's going to announce himself to the rest of Europe. So PSG done some good business, really playing some good fluid attacking football. Marcos Asensio in the striker role. PSG, I think they're still going to do really well, but I think they're just going to miss out on the top 8 and finish in 9th place. 8th place is Liverpool. And heck, this is coming from a Liverpool fan right here. But if I look at this schedule for Liverpool, you're at home to Real Madrid. They own us. They're our daddies. I'm sorry, Liverpool fans. They're our daddies. They own us. When was the last time Liverpool beat Real Madrid in the Champions League? Yeah, it's been a long time. Since 2009, when we beat them 4-0. Nah, we're going to lose that game. I'm sorry. I would love to say we're going to win. I just don't see it. Yeah, Real Madrid don't look the strongest this season. They always turn up in the Champions League. Bayer Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso returns to Anfield. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumors he might have been the Liverpool manager. Let's see how that matchup is going to go. Of course, I expect Liverpool to beat Lille, beat Bologna, beat PSV away, beat Girona away, beat RB Leipzig away. San Siro, always a tough location to go to. So, yes, Liverpool are flying high right now. Salah is still one of the best players in the world. Diaz is stepping up. Gravenberch, I don't know what this guy has been eating. Keep eating the same thing, bro. You're playing like Prime Seedorf. You're doing amazing. Van Dijk. So Liverpool got a great team. But the league, plus the Champions League, and this is where a lot of frustration came in this summer. With the lack of business in the summer, that you need a squad in the Champions League and the league. Hopefully, Liverpool got the squad still. I rate the team, but it's going to be tough. I still think they can make it to the top 8, and that is the clear objective for this team. Make it to the top 8, give yourself less games, and that will be a good thing. Get some rest, and Liverpool to finish 8th. So the beaten Champions League finalists from last year, Borussia Dortmund, I got them in 7th place. Look at this schedule, people. If you're Dortmund, thank you, UEFA. Dortmund fans are like, UEFA, God bless you, because you gave us Barca at home. It's going to be tough. Shakhtar at home, Celtic at home, Sturm Graz at home, away to the Santiago Bernabeu, away to Club Brugge, away to Dinamo Zagreb, away to Bologna. This is a cakewalk. This is an absolute cakewalk for Dortmund. They should be thrilled. Girassi coming back from injury. Anton, the center back. They got still Schlotterbeck. They still got some good players. Bayer's really got to step up at striker role. He's a young player who they signed from Hoffenheim. I still think he's going to do well. And Nuri Sahin, how will he do in Champions League football? You know, you're going up against Hansi Flick. You're going up against Carlo Ancelotti. You're going up against a manager like Vincenzo Italiano. Not going to be easy for Nuri Sahin. But that schedule, I mean, there is 5 guaranteed wins right there for Dortmund. So they can get then a Dinamo Zagreb win and maybe a Barcelona draw. They could get like 20 points more. That's fantastic for Dortmund. That's why I got them in the top 7. It's not because they're playing amazing football. They got an amazing squad. Everybody always diminishes Dortmund and their chances. I think their chances are quite high. 1, because they made some good signings. And 2, they got an easy schedule. Dortmund, 7th place. 6th place, I got Inter. Yeah, it was a disappointing ending last year in the Champions League, losing to Atletico on penalties, but they're still a damn good team. And they signed Remy and Zielinski on a free. On a free? How do other teams in Europe just allow that? How? But they got a good schedule. They got some tasty matchups and games that are really going to test how good are Inter really? How good is Inzaghi? And I know how good they are. They're a pretty good team because we've seen it time and time again. Just last week, they destroyed Atalanta 4-0. Thuram was an absolute beast. Barella, he might need a hair transplant, but he's not playing like it because he's playing amazing right now. The goal he scored, whew, bellissimo. So, RB Leipzig at home, they're going to win. Crvena Zvezda at home, they're going to win. Monaco at home, they're going to win. The Arsenal game, oh, that is going to be a fun matchup between Arsenal and Inter. Man City away, tough. Champions League final rematch from 2 years ago. It's going to be tough. Bayer Leverkusen away, going to be tough. And I expect them to beat Young Boys and Sparta Praha. So it's not the easiest of fixtures, but I think this is a great test for this Inter side. They need to be tested. They are such a good team that are they consistently testing the Serie A, even though I rate the Serie A highly. But last year, they didn't have any test in the Serie A. Let's see how they're going to do in the Champions League. I think they will do very well, and that's why I got them in 6th place. 5th place, I got Arsenal. Okay, people can laugh at Arsenal and say, where's your heritage in Europe? Where is this? That's just all the cliches we see on YouTube and different shows and that sort of stuff. They clown Arsenal. And yes, you know, losing to Bayern, a Bayern side that weren't great last year in the Champions League, disappointing, of course. But then losing to Sporting. So Arteta really needs to take this competition serious. I don't want to just see like, okay, yeah, we're just going to solely focus on the Premier League. No, you need your team locked and loaded mentally and physically all the time. And they can do that with the Champions League. Their home games, layups, except for PSG. The other games, they're winning. Away from home, you're going away to Inter, away to Atalanta, Sporting, you lost there a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and Girona. Not easy away fixtures for Arsenal, but I rate this team highly. And they added Calafiori. Sterling is a good signing. He's obviously better than Reece Nelson or whatever else they had, or Nketiah. He's better than those players. But it's not like a game changer signing where you're like, yeah, Arsenal's attack, that's dangerous. You know, obviously they got Saka. Guy can be a world-class player. He's got the potential to be. Havertz, good one day, terrible the next day. Good one day, terrible the next day. But the midfield and defense, Arsenal really strong in those departments. I think they will have a good UCL campaign. I feel like they're going to lose away to Inter, but they can win all of their home games because Arsenal have turned into a very good home side. They got more experience in the Champions League. That's what this young team needs. That's what Arteta needs. And I got them finishing in 5th place in the league phase. 4th then is Bayern Munich. Now, look at these fixtures, people. PSG at home. Benfica at home. Dinamo Zagreb at home. Slovan Bratislava at home. 3 guaranteed wins, and they're going to be favorites over PSG at home. Now, they're going to face Hansi Flick. You think Hansi Flick and Barcelona want to lose again to Bayern Munich? No. That cannot happen to Barcelona. Away to Shakhtar, basically a home game for Bayern. Away to Feyenoord, going to be tough. And away to Villa Park. So, I think Bayern, while I'm not sold on them defensively, they got the midfield. I want to see Palhinha start more games. We know the talent, Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise, Harry Kane, and these sort of guys. Bayern have a good team. If you really want to be constructive of this team, the defense needs to fix up. If they can fix up Upamecano and Kim Min-jae, I think Bayern will do very well in the league phase, at least of the Champions League. Vincent Kompany, first time in the Champions League. Let's see how he does going up against guys like Luis Enrique and Hansi Flick. Bayern Munich will still do well. I got them in 4th place. 3rd place is Real Madrid. And as they won another Champions League. I mean, we're getting bored at this point. Sorry to Madrid fans. I know you guys are the greatest club in the world. We need a different winner. Can you allow Atalanta to win? Can you allow Liverpool to win? Thank you, Real Madrid. But nonetheless, they got a good schedule. At home to Dortmund, home to AC Milan. I think Real Madrid will win both of those games. They will beat Salzburg. They will beat Stuttgart. Away to Anfield. Oh, come on. I told you people. Real Madrid are the daddies of Liverpool. And until Liverpool beat them, nothing will change. And away to Atalanta, they could drop points there. Real Madrid, I think they will get like 24, 26 points. Actually, no, 23 to 26 points. That will be enough for them to get a top 3 finish. Yeah, they don't look like a solid team right now. The attack isn't fluid. But if there's one manager to fix it, it is Carlo Ancelotti. People are way too reactionary nowadays. Oh my god, yeah, drop Mbappe. Why? Why are you going to drop Mbappe? Just play him at right wing. Play somebody like a Endrick or a false 9 like Rodrigo. And Vinny, of course, left wing. That's how you solve the problem. But is there one manager to do it? It is Carlo. He will figure it out. He will find the right balance. And Real Madrid will do well in the Champions League. They will finish 3rd place. 2nd place is Barcelona. In years past, we clowned Barcelona. You got no money. You're constantly losing in the Champions League, whether it's to Benfica or Inter. But last year, they made it to the quarterfinal. And obviously, Araujo got the stupid red card. They went out to PSG. But this is a new Barca. Hansi Flick has got this team playing like a new Ferrari. They're starting off like this. Incredible football. Dani Olmo really molding himself well into the team. Rafinha stepping up big time. Lewandowski still getting goals. And Lamine Yamal, the dude has been hitting bench. I mean, he has gotten stronger, mixed in with his technical ability. I worry about the midfield still, about how can they do defensively. But Barca are a good team. If they can keep playing the way they have, and yeah, okay, people can clown them and say, who have you really played? You haven't played anybody, Real Valladolid and these sort of teams. No, Barca have played good football, and I think Hansi Flick, his experience in Europe, really going to help. And he's won a Champions League before, so he knows how to tactically prepare his teams. And Barca are really believing in the Hansi Flick hype. And all the Barca fans, they're smoking the Hansi Flick copium right now. Hey, I would too if I'm a Barca fan, because this is the football they have been dreaming for the last couple of years. It's just about, can they continue it with the team they got? I think they can. I think they're going to do really well. You look at their schedule. Bayern at home. Hey, Bayern have clowned you guys for God knows how long. Barca, beat them. Beat them. Atalanta at home, you should win. Young boy, stop Brestoa. I got nothing else to say. 6 points there. Away to Dortmund, that can be a tricky game. That can be a tricky game. Away to Benfica, I expect to win. So if you look at their schedule, Barca, they got really two tough games. Winning the game at home against Bayern to really send a statement. And the away game to Dortmund could be difficult. So I'm expecting Barca to get like 6-7 wins here. And that should be enough for Barca to get a top 2 finish. And I really like the way they're playing. First place then is, of course, Manchester City. There is no denying that they are the best team in Europe. Yes, they didn't prove it last year. They lost on penalties to Real Madrid. But when you have the best manager in the world, aka Thanos, aka Pep Guardiola, you're always going to have a chance of winning the Champions League. And look at the form of Erling Braut Haaland. My God, this guy is moving like Ragnar Lothbrok. With the way he's just destroying teams. With back-to-back hat-tricks, he's taking it to another level. Yeah, he might have had a dip in form last year. Okay, this year, he might score 100 goals with the way things are going. And their schedule is very favorable for them. Yeah, you look away to PSG and away to Juventus. Could be tough, but I would still expect the quality of Man City to win those games. The home games, 3 layups. 3 layups. And Inter, that's going to be a great matchup. Because the one thing everybody clowns them about is, oh, you always get an easy draw. You always get an easy group fixtures. Well, they got Inter, PSG, and Juventus. 3 top sides this season. Let's see how Man City do. I think they will win 7 games. They might lose 1 game. They might draw 1 game. They will not lose 2 games this season in the league phase, at least for the Champions League. And that's why I think they're going to finish first. I think they're going to finish with like 21, 22 points and finish first in the Champions League phase. There's the predictions for the league phase of the Champions League. It's been a very long video that I even had to film it the next day because it was so long. If you made it this far to the video, drop a hashtag UCL MTF, and we will be covering every single match day of the Champions League here on the channel. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to follow me on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, to follow the journey of the UCL this season. Not just the big teams, but also Slovan Bratislava, Sparta Praha, Crvena Zvezda, and all the minnows. Remember to join the Discord. We'll be having a lot of discussion during the Champions League nights on there. But have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world, and until next time, adios.